Yeah, I'm going to request that we evacuate everything west of Mill Creek on Mackenzie River Drive, Mackenzie Highway. These residents along the north side of the highway need to get out right now.
About 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and I noticed some lights flashing, yellow lights flashing, and I heard somebody in a bullhorn. And I walked out in the front porch, and I hadn't smelled the fire until I actually walked outside there. And when I was looking around, really big ashes were falling everywhere, and you could smell it. So I come back in the house and I call 911, and the 911 operator says, yeah, you need to leave, you're on level 3.
We'd lost everything. Everything was gone, except a suitcase and the vehicles we were in. And we were going to, literally on a daily basis, begin to experience the biggest miracles that we've ever experienced in our life.
Pastor Doug Farrington of Living Water Family Fellowship had come down and joined a gathering of about 80 pastors and leaders who meet monthly to pray for our community, to pray for one another and build friendships. We just talked about how potentially this network of local churches could band together with him and with residents of Blue River to at least be a small part of the rebuilding process that was just ahead of everybody.
We called them stand-up meetings. It was up in the Rainbow area in the parking lot at Dakota's. And everybody had notepads and clipboards, and we'd go around the circle, people from the Forest Service and local nonprofits and volunteers, and different ones would just go around the circle and report. And a woman named Margaret brought up this idea of sheds. The one thing that didn't burn on our church property is our shed. And we were putting generators in there to donate, and it was just great to have a shed. I mean, I get it, So we took that idea and just handed it off to One Hope Network, and it just took off from there.
And so we started. And after that first one was built, we said, let's see if we could build like 2 others. And so we worked with Gene Stringfield Lumber, and they were just so generous with helping us. And we brought a few leaders and contractors together to build. And so we had our first build day. We sat down with a few more leaders. We talked to Jason Kaminsky of Kaminsky Construction. He brought a crew. We talked to different contractors and churches. And on one day, we had a goal to build 10 sheds.
With building 10 sheds in one day, there has to be processes and procedures throughout. I believe Kaminsky Construction was part of the runway taking off for this project, and just help set up for those initial build days on the project and looking at how to streamline building over 100 sheds. The experience for our team being involved with Sheds of Hope was the camaraderie of our team working together, not just for a paycheck, but it was just us giving of our time.
It was great to see, like the Avengers, these gifted people come together, these superpowers complementing one another to win the day. And among these superheroes that came together were Alan Christensen, Alan Gehring, and Richard Russell. These were lead contractor guys that had gifts of leadership. They knew how to build. They had a winsome ability to work with all kinds of people. They really helped mentor and train, and they carried the ownership of Sheds of Hope and gave it away to many other people so it could be multiplied. And it is and was a delight to serve with them and to see their gifts and their superpowers complement one another and then bless and help other people.
My name is Richard Russell, and I got involved with Sheds of Hope because of my heart for the fire victims. Being a fairly frugal guy, even though we had a fair amount of funds available, I have a materials management background, and so trying to find the best prices for the materials, and the prices were going up and down and varying. Lumber prices were quite high and going up, and so on a whim I went to Jerry's and said, what kind of a process do you have? And I found out it was a 30-day process, and we were needing materials in 2 days. They put me in touch with somebody at the main headquarters, and she said, yeah, we'd love to help you, and she made things happen, and 48 hours later they donated $5,000 gift card to buy materials.
Well, I'm Alan Christensen, and I got roped into Sheds of Hope. Watching what happened with the fire, it broke my heart, and it's like I can feel all bad and wring my hands, and here's a tangible way to do something to help my neighbor. Well, the experience with Sheds of Hope was to watch a community come together, and not just the faith community, that for sure, but to see people give of themselves, give of their time, give of their talents, little bloodshed, little mud on their hands, few slivers, building relationships with people I've never met before, people in churches of other denominations, people of maybe no faith at all, but we got to do this. On a primal level, you got to help your neighbor.
There's a number of reasons I got involved with Sheds of Hope, and one is that I pastored for many years, but I also have a construction background and went back to general contracting. And one of my hopes was that I could always use my abilities, the skill sets that I had honed, for good. During Spring Break 2021, there was Bushnell and a number of other communities and churches, and there were teams that were going to go on mission trips around the world that just showed up there because they couldn't go anywhere.
We had about 12 or 15 built, and we thought, well, I think we can at least build 50. That was kind of a stretch, but we thought we could get 50. So we opened the list to contain at least 50 people who had lost their homes in the fire.
There were so many different people that wanted to help, and it came together. And so looking back now, I look at it and say it was just a huge show of community support from all different areas, from the Christian church. One Hope helped coordinate it. We had volunteers, we had believers, non-believers, government agencies, schools got involved in building. It was just a huge joint effort to make something happen upriver.
It was just a really neat time to see people go, well, if we can't go somewhere else, we can go right here in our community and we can make a difference in Oregon.
There was the Corvette Club. There was even a group of elementary school girls who wanted to build a shed and knew of contractors in their church, worked with contractors in their church, and they put together a shed. There was a group of businessmen who didn't want to be known, and they had a coach, a contractor coach, work with them so that they could build a shed as well. There was one local church who decided that they wanted to fund and build 26 sheds. And so they did that, but it was such a big project that other churches came alongside them and helped complete that. There was another church group that actually helped assemble 52 upriver.
Our role in Sheds of Hope has basically been to take sheds, pick them up from different areas, different people who have built them, and take them upriver and assemble them on site. And so we've had the opportunity to do that for 52 times.
52 times.
Yeah.
So far they have 102 or 3 sheds put together, so I guess we've done half of them. We had some students from McKenzie High School who were building a shed in their wood shop, and they came to help us put one together one day so they could see how that all went, and they were a big help.
Hi, my name is Lee Kanowski. I work for 4J as a construction teacher. I work for Lane ESD as a construction sector specialist, which means I serve all the high schools in Lane County, like 16 high schools. And then I go off to Lane Community College and I teach apprenticeships 101. Sheds of Hope had the plans, they had people, they had coaches. It was an instant hit to put my high school students with Sheds of Hope. Our students who got to actually put these homes on the sites, they got to meet the people who lost their homes and really get a connection. It's one thing to build it in the shop, but it's another thing to put it on that piece of property and meet those people who lost their homes. Some of our students, when they came, they were so quiet and so shy, and all of a sudden, this gave them empowerment, this gave them confidence. They were building sheds, and they became leaders.
In my years of helping with collaboration in the community, I hadn't seen as many different groups come together and in such a way that collaboration just continued to happen. And it was like one group would collaborate and then pass collaboration on and invite others to do it. And that was a wonderful thing to see.
Moving forward, the way this thing's going to move forward, I know how it's going to work, is out of the blue, you're going to get a phone call. There's this need out here. What need? Yeah, there's an emergency out here. Could you collaborate again to do this and maybe on a larger scale? The collaboration is already there. We already have the relationships. We already have the business, the church, the community, the schools working together to meet even another need.
The beauty of Sheds of Hope is that while shed walls have gone up, relational and cultural walls have come down.
You've heard about the Marines, you know, they're a band of brothers. When you fight together and you got each other's back and stuff, there's a bond that's formed there. You can't explain how strong that is. And when you take on something like this and you work together with ones you've never met before, there's a camaraderie, but there's I know I got your back. I had Richard's back when he had COVID. People had my back when I had a heart attack, and we still work together and get the job done.
Since I'm a person with a religious background, I felt like it was something that was backed by God, and that He never leaves people.